you know, it's so that was my way of kind of. I mean, that's part of my personality anyway. You know, I was hearing all those extra things, and I had the, you know, they gave me the, you know, the ball to just run with to be able to do all the music. So
right,
I had fun with it, man. I let the band, you know, I let the band play, man. That's what it's about.
That's what you know, it's all about the music.
Yeah, I had friends say, man, don't give them all your stuff, man. Don't give them all your stuff. Don't give them it all. I'm like, hey, man. You know, I'm in music because it's my passion, so I'm gonna do it. You know, cool. So I'm really happy about the way where it took me. I think, you know, definitely it took to the pinnacle of the careers, and I was right there.
All right. So where else did you go after New Kids on the Block?
Well, then I went into I started touring with Chico Freeman. He's that's the total, because that's total opposite end. It's more like jazz, a little bit fusion, you know, fusion, and I recorded with him. And I toured Europe and America with him, and because I missed it. You know, I was playing pop all the time. Right. I missed the small settings. I missed the jazz clubs. I missed. You know, at one point we were forced to play with tracks, you know, because they had extra stuff and extra, you know, stuff on tracks. Yeah. And I hated that. I hated being a slave to tracks, you know, and I was glad when something messed up and then we didn't have to play the tracks anymore, you know, because we're like slave to those tracks.
Right.
So I did Chico Freeman, and then I did, who came after him? Wow. I know I did Steve Coleman. Okay. And that was fun. I learned a lot of neat intricacies in his music and theories and stuff. And then after I left them, you know, I had been running into Michelle and Danielle Cella. She'd come on my gig in DC, and we'd hang, and you know, we'd see each other in passing a lot. And she was like, "When are you gonna play with me?" And I was like, "All you gotta do is call me. Right? You have to do is call me." She called a week after I quit Steve Coleman. So that was one of my funnest gigs. I'd say my 3 top funnest gigs. I can say it right off the bat: Michelle, Layla, and Jonathan Butler. Those are my 2, because they let you play. They let you play, and I love their music, and as an artist, you know.
So what was some of the stuff that you would play with Michelle?
Oh man, shoot, that was a while ago too. You trying to let me see? That's her first hit. You know, what's it called? Boyfriend.
Right.
Yeah.
Wow, that was.
But she had a lot of happening. She had a lot of happening stuff. I like, as an artist too. She had a lot of, you know, a lot of nice, you know, and she was a great arranger. Okay. But the downfall on that for me is that she would, you know, like after a week, the band would really get her new arrangement, and then like a week later, she want to change it. Like, no, I'm just getting into this. Let's get into this like 1 more week or 2 more weeks. But she always had something going up there. You know?
Right.
So yeah, she's brilliant though.
Well, that's excellent. You also work with Bob James.
Oh yeah, got a story about that, which helped me for a lot of musicians. That yeah, it's true. You don't have to read to be successful, but it can embarrass you, and it can help you. It can help. You can lose a gig if you don't know how to read too. So I mean, but I'm glad I shared it. You know, my reading, because when he sent the CDs and I was touring and we were in Korea, we rehearsed before the show, and he sent me the music and he sent me the CD, and I think Richard Boner's on the CD. He's killing. And so I learned what Richard was playing. You know, I was like, that's what he wanted me to play. You know, I can learn either way, listening or by reading, but I prefer to hear it. You know, and so I can feel it. And then, you know, so anyway, we got in a rehearsal, and I brought my music with me, and so I was playing the stuff that Richard played on the CD, and Bob James said, "Hold up!" He stopped the rehearsal. He said, Is that what's on your paper? Is that what you're reading? I said, no, I'm playing, you know, I got the CD and the music. I'm playing what's on the CD. And it was his new CD. Right. He said, I want you to play what's on the paper. So I was like, whoa. So I got hot all over. I was like, I got to read all this mess right now. So, but, you know, I mean, you know, my little technique for reading, especially if there's a whole bunch of notes all over the place, is I just dissect the notes. And I go through it slowly real quick and dissect the notes, because there's been many studio sessions where I'll get the music, I haven't even heard the music, and I'll get a sheet of music, And I first come in there and I'll just look at it and I'll read it in my mind, and, you know, I can tap it out and I can dissect all the rhythms, you know, anything that may trip me up, and I'll go down through it and I'm like, okay, I got this. And then I'll go over it one more time faster, and I'm like, okay, I can play it. You know, I know I can play it. You know, so, you know, every time I get some sheets with a whole bunch of notes, 30-second and, you know, notes all over the place, and I'll you know, first your heart starts beating. It's like, man, hold on, I got this. just dissect it and then read it down and we'll be fine. And that's what I did. And I really didn't have time to do that because he counted it right off. But I just calmed down and I went through it. And his music is not easy, right. You know. But I was kind of proud of myself. I said, all right, this is a landmark occasion, and he was happy with everything. And I was like, okay, I have to stress to anybody that reading, you know, is very important.
Very important.
Sight reading.
Play something that you would have played with Mr. James.
Oh man, well, I can't remember everything, but I know one thing that I did play with him. You recognize that?
Yes, definitely. That's hot.
Yeah, Westchester Lady or something like that. Yeah.
Yes, yeah, exactly. That's.
Well, I played. You know, it was played by finger, but I developed a technique that I started from, like muting. It's what regular palm muting is like this, and I usually just use it. I've heard like Marcus Miller, they use it for like say you're playing a line like this. You know, and now you want to break it down. You know, kind of it's a muting.
Yeah.
And so it kind of brings down the volume. I do that for interludes and stuff. And then I started playing all my lines like that. You know, playing all the lines in different genres. Mm-hmm. And then one time I was on a gig. There was no drummer, and he wanted me to do a solo. It was just me, a guitarist, and a keyboardist. And I had the solo, and I soloed all doing that and adding, you know, because my thumb would get tired trying to do lines, and so I started adding my index and my middle finger, and I was like, oh, that's all right, I'm gonna have to develop that. So I started kind of working on it, and then I had a student who's a phenomenal bass player now. He plays with like Vernon Reid and Screaming Headless Torsos, and who's he on tour with now? Somebody else. He's phenomenal out of this area.
Okay.
And I mean, his chops are phenomenal. He'll run circles around me, man. But he couldn't even solo when he first came to me. But now he's like incredible. And we were doing a lesson, and he saw me doing a technique. And he said, and he was always on the cutting edge of all the techniques. And he said he was really interested in that. What are you doing there, William? I was like, I got something here. So I started developing it, and so that's really kind of like my, that's my vibe now. I mean, it's important for everybody to have their own vibe on the instrument or have their own techniques.
Right.
And that's something I've developed. So I do solos with it and grooves. I mean, in any genre, whether it be Latin or blue bossa, So, I do it, whether it be Latin or like when I was with Jonathan Butler, I'd use it for, I was learning his, he has this technique where he does this South African thing.
Right.
And I was trying to learn that while I was with him because sometimes he does stuff that sounds like it's like 5 different guitar players, And I really didn't get to kind of, I catch on to a little bit of it, but I couldn't, trying to get their vibe, but when he does it, it sounds like 4 other people playing too. I was like, do that again. What are you doing? But he was phenomenal. So I try to apply it to every genre. you know, whether it be like reggae or whatever, and so
Right.
get to be authentic, but put my own vibe